What's up, Ragnarok fans? In this video, I'm going to do some testing on the stat called penetration. And because no one bothers to buy my mommy cards, I'm going to use them for this testing instead. So what is penetration? Well, I'll just use a simple scenario, same of what the ROX customer support had given to me. What he said is, if you have 100 penetration and the target has 150 defense, the target defense to you will then becomes only 50. So that's 150 minus 100. You will get 50. For the second scenario, if you have 100 penetration and the target has only 50 defense, therefore you can deal 50 more damage to the target. That's 50 minus 100, negative 50. So that negative 50 will be an additional damage to the target. And here are some penetration facts. The first one is that it doesn't affect critical damage. You can have 99999 penetration and your critical damage will still or remains the same. So for P penetration stat, this one is for physical attack users and M penetration is for magical attack users. For these trials, I'm going to use my Holy Light skill, and this one has a chance to crit as well. And for the second phase, I'm going to use Signum Crucis first before Holy Light, because the Signum Crucis has a debuff effect that decreases the target's defense and MDef. Take note that my wand already has an MDef penetration stats, which will give the initial boost to my penetration. And for the first trial, no cards will be equipped to my costumes. And here are the result of the first trial. So as expected, there's a little bit of additional damage increase when the time I use Signum Crucis plus Holy Light. And the crit value, as expected, is the same. For the second trial, one mommy card is equipped, which will give me an M pen of plus 6%. And here are the result of my second trial. So fast forward, I got a damage increase of 4.72%. And after the debuff, I got a damage increase of 5.33%. And for the second trial, I have now 2 mommy cards equipped, which will then total my final M penetration of additional 12%. So here are the result of the third trial. Again, fast forward. For the first part, I got an increase of 9.94% damage. And for after the debuff, I got an increase of 10.26% damage. And for the last and final trial, I have now 3 Mami cards, which will then give me an additional boost of 18% final M penetration.
My intuition says to give you up, but my heart can't easily let you go. I try to tell myself this isn't love, and I hate that I never really know if I should stay or be alone. Who you loving now?
And here are the result of the last trial. Fast forward, I got a damage increase of 14.92%. And after the debuff, I got an increase of 15.17%.
But I hate.
And there you go, guys. That was the testing that I made. So in my own opinion only, penetration is okay if your target has low in armor. Therefore, the difference between your penetration value and their low armor becomes an additional damage to them. Meanwhile, if the enemy has high armor, then critical attacks are better because critical attacks ignore a huge portion of the enemy's armor. And as well as penetration is also okay if your class or your build uses skills that will debuff or reduce the opponent's armor. So if you have that in your class, then I think penetration is a good option for you. And lastly, critical attacks has more superior damage than penetration. But if your target has critical resistance, then penetration will be better. Like for example, this one. So if your opponent will wear this one, 3 of these, then critical builds are doomed. And for another debate whether penetration is better than percent attack, that I don't know. Thank you and bye-bye.